So he's the superintendent pharmacist and director of Christchurch Health Clinic. And it's a 3-in-1 business. It's a pharmacy, it's a private GP clinic, and they also do domiciliary care services. I've been to his pharmacy a few times and was really impressed, and one of the reasons why he's here. But his wife is also a big part of it. We had her before him, so she is excellent as a GP, and she's really, really good. And it brings the context between GP and pharmacy working together. He also shares, you might have seen on AV Pro, quite a lot of his vision and podcasts and all of the. Really, thank you for that, Baba. Mm-hmm. So, Baba, over to you now. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Am I on? Fantastic. Now, I always worry when I speak before lunch. I'm going to ask for a favor. Imagine that I'm an American preacher, right? It's Sunday, come on. Okay, do me a favor, just do that. Cross your arms, quickly, yeah? Now, I'm going to ask you to do something else. Now, swap it. How does that feel? That is what change feels like. Yeah? And that is what we're going through. So, when you look at what's on the screen, that kind of gives us an idea or a picture of what's happening in pharmacy. Imagine if you bought your dad a Netflix subscription, and then he says, no, I like my DVDs. And then he downloads the DVDs he downloads the movies from Netflix onto a DVD, and he plays it. Now that's what the 70% of us are doing. When you print an ATP, a digital product, and then you manually go fetch it off the shelf and do everything manually. Does that make sense? Now, I would like to see this done again next year, please. Just let's see how many of us have gone paperless. Because as a collective, we need to move forward. If analog is going digital and only 70% or only 30% of us have done that now, we might be in trouble in the NHS 10-year plan. My name is Baba. My wife Dupe and my son Dara are here with me. I need help. And so thank you guys for the help that you've already given us over the years. Salim, hats off to you. And the previous speakers as well. Okay, I'm going to take you back on a journey. 15 years ago, this company existed on most high streets, correct? Now, they're closed. People are still watching films, is that correct? They're still watching movies. They've just changed the way they like to watch it. Okay. Now, the guys you're looking at now, they changed the way people watch movies, and those guys are out. I need to ask myself, am I a Blockbuster or am I a Netflix? And it's got to do with mentality or mindset. I'm not going to spend any time on this. As Bridge said, we all know. It's not just pharmacy. Even if you were a train driver, you would still competing with AI. AI can take the train from here to Luxembourg. Correct? Okay, so they are also competing for their job roles. Everything is changing around us. The only thing that I can do is change with the time. Big company, Jay, you saw, it's all change. Small company, change. That's inevitable. What do we need to change? As the mind goes, so does the man. If you can change your mindset, you're more than likely to be able to get a mission to get you there. We are not just pharmacy leaders, we are visionaries. There's a 10-year plan. It is my responsibility to mentally try and capture what 10 years time looks like, if these things are going to come true. And then come back with that foresight, with insight into today, yeah? Take my team with me on a mission in that direction, with a model, a vehicle that's suitable to get us there. Now, what you do when you go to foresight is come back with 3 plans. The main one, if the NHS do what they say they're going to do, that's plan A. If the NHS does not do what they say they're going to do, private, that's plan B. And then if that doesn't work, I'm selling, that's plan 3. Yeah? So Plan C. So you need to have 3 plans, and you need to take your team with them and be very convincing. I hope I'm being very convincing right now. Okay, so now what do I need to change as far as mindset? I can spend a whole day on this one. But the reality is, the only thing I'm thinking about, please, I beg of you, don't call your practice a shop anymore. Please don't do that. You're diminishing who we are. We started as retail pharmacists, but we're now community pharmacists. We're clinicians, right? So that change in mentality means a lot. If I lose you now, I have lost you throughout the talk. You might as well walk out now. Because everything else relates to a mission towards converting your shop ideology into a practice. Now we need to consider the change of mission in that direction. This is not going to go away. Big company, small company, it's not going to go away. When patients come in to collect their prescriptions or to buy something over the counter, or they come to ask for directions, you make every contact count. You walk into our pharmacy, you come to ask for directions, we get your blood pressure down. It's just the way it is. Now, and also there's a lot of people coming in through your doors that you already know they're coming. It's called repeat prescriptions. And you got 2 days with their data. Look at how they lose mine data to reach people. I cannot afford that. So I physically free my staff to look at who's coming and actually phone them saying, we hear you're coming. Would you like us to have your cholesterol test done when you come and collect? When are you coming? Go to our app and book a time, and I'll do your cholesterol test. So the personal touch that we have as an advantage over Jay is Carlos will call the patient and name his own name. Say, I'm Carlos, ask for me when you come. Yeah? Does that make sense? So what we're doing in that sense is we're preparing for every contact. And once you've done that, I haven't got that power again like the big companies. We follow up every contact. This will help us convert a single activity fee to a potential 89 pounds. At our pharmacy at Christchurch, we are also contracted to do cholesterol tests, which will add another 30 pounds to that, which is fair enough, good money. Okay, so, and bear in mind, Plan B also goes along. We're not just selling the NHS services. I'm also looking for work for my wife, private services. So we're making every contact count. If I can't take money from you via the NHS, I will take money from you via my wife. Sounds good, doesn't it? Okay, so, yeah. You can convert money, you can convert £1.50 to £25 by stopping all the ETPs. When you get an ETP, convince that patient that the next time should be PGD. Right, change of model. This is what people will actually do first. Head office has said we should get a robot. And the guys haven't got a clue. They still got a shop mentality, but now you've put a robot in, and then in 3 years' time, they say the robot isn't working. That's because they're using the old mindset to do a futuristic thing. This is me before I lost the tummy. Looking at our pharmacy some years ago, and I said, well, this tenor lady isn't moving. This blood pressure machine, I used to get paid £1 for blood pressure being done. It's not making me any money. And I knew that services were coming. So I packed all the tenor lady and I gave it to a charity nearby, and we pulled down the wall. Now, it wasn't just a physical wall we pulled down, it was a mental wall we put down. We pulled down that wall that says, I need people buying stuff off the shelf, when bigger companies could buy it cheaper and sell it cheaper than myself. My wife even wasn't shopping at our pharmacy. So what's the point? She was getting things cheaper somewhere else. So I got rid of everything. And then what you can see here is our collection point to the left, so that people just collect instead of going to the reception. We've got a blood pressure room as well as where we do our NMS. We have our normal 2 collection point consultation rooms already, but they're always occupied because we're part of the IP Pathfinder. So we needed more space for our pre-regis, our healthcare assistant to provide services. Okay, so as far as change of model, you renovate your premises, not for aesthetic purposes, but functionality of the future. And then you innovate your practice. You automate. Get a robot. We've had a robot now since 2008. When we upgraded in 2021, it was working 4 times faster. Things are moving rapidly, as Duncan said earlier. things are changing so fast. So automate your processes. Our ACTs, when we set up in April, we got a software that does the check-in. We were finishing our work by 4 p.m. So they were worried, thinking we're going to lose our jobs. So that's why I thought I need more work for you. So now what the ACTs do, they only check the split packs. The rest of the time, they're making phone calls to everybody. During the clinical check, the pharmacist will highlight those who you can call for blood pressure. Now they're going to be highlighting those who you can do a flu jab for. We call them. You sit down and you call them. I've actually had to say to our dispensers to slow down. Seriously, spend time with the patients. Sorry, we don't call them customers anymore. Spend time with them and see what services we can get out of them. Okay, so you automate to free your staff. And if you can't afford it or you don't have enough space, Hub and Spoke allows us to leverage on the investment of other people's technology, right? I don't know the details of that. It is not my responsibility to fine-tune those things, but they will happen. You know, you'll be able to sign a paper and you will see the difference. They will deliver to you in 24 hours and then you will serve the patient and get the services. And then digitize. So similarly to what Jay showed, we have designed our own pre-consult forms for everything. You come in, you scan the QR code, you fill the blood pressure form yourself while sitting down for 5 minutes so that you're relaxed. We do the blood pressure, put it onto the phone for you. We submit and the patient gets a copy, my admin staff gets a copy, and they also get the leaflets electronically, access to the leaflets, so that they are helping me provide the services quicker. I'm able to do 3 blood pressures within 15 minutes instead of just 1. So that's how we're working that. Now, our admin staff receives that and puts it straight onto Pharma Outcomes on behalf of whichever healthcare provider has done it. Last point, I'll skip this quickly. Capacity, because you've freed your staff. Competencies, which Vina is going to come up and talk about in upskilling people. Why would your IP stay at your pharmacy if they don't have the opportunity to use that? Your ACTs are no longer enjoying check-in because when they can do PGD services. So it's not just the competencies, it's giving them the capacity to do that and also creating that capability as a team to achieve that. Collaboration. I admire you guys, Jay, what they're doing as far as joint ventures. Remember, we're moving from a shopkeeper mentality to a practice mentality. So when you say practice, you think about dental practice, veterinary practice, GP practice. They don't work solo. Do you know that? They don't work solo. This idea of a solo pharmacist is not going to get us through to the 10-year plan. We're going to need to look at how we partner with people. Okay, you say to me, oh, Baba, I've been in this business for too long, I'm leaving. Get your pre-reg from 5 years ago. That one that was very good. And sell him 20%. He cannot afford to buy a pharmacy yet. Sell him 20% of your business and use his brain. And gradually sell the rest of it to him or to a group of pharmacists. You will never need a locum again, one. The amount of new business he will bring in will pay for the 20% you've just sold to him. Now, why am I saying these things? Because I desperately need you to upskill, to upgrade, and to do what you need to do, because pharmacy cannot go forward except we move forward as a collective. Individual brilliance is not going to convince the government. As Jay said, it's a journey. We are already negotiating our next contract. They're looking at our collective capacity. So when they go and sit down at the table, they've already decided we are able or we're not. Does that make sense? So what you do affects what I do. What I do affects what you do. We need to move as a collective. This is a picture of what we do as change management in Christchurch Pharmacy. It's called strategic workload management. The collection is done here so that those guys over there at the reception have time to talk to the patients. PIES is something that Dupa and I coined from, believe it or not, reading the Bible. So this idea is that our staff know that the only reason why their job is secure is not just productivity, like you're working hard. Productivity, innovation, efficiency will make sure that we have job security. Did you get a chance to put up that other poll, the one with the consultation rooms? I asked, thank you so much, Bridge, for the first poll. The other poll I would like to see up, and if you please just put your Slido on and answer that question is, this is our collective capacity. What you're seeing here, if you haven't done it yet, please, I've got 1 minute, 5 seconds now. If you put that up there so that you can see what the government is looking at to decide if your neighborhood network can actually commission a service in your location, in your area. So we've got altogether 4 consulting areas at the pharmacy and 5 at Duper's clinic, so potentially 9 consultation rooms. But if the other 4 pharmacies only have 1 consultation room, do you think they're going to commission those services in that area? They're not going to look at one that has 9, they're going to look at all of us all together and say, community pharmacy in this area cannot cope. Give it to the GPs again. And then we're going to be like, they're giving everything to the GPs. No, we're shooting ourselves in the foot. Thank you very much for your time.